What's good, fools? How y'all doing? Thanks for clicking the video. It's your boy Jay. I'm the Cardinal of Criterion, whatever else. Hong Kong Phooey, and you know it. Leopard punch you straight to your throat. This is Movie Mass. Thanks for clicking on the video, man. You did the right thing. Anyway, I am here once again to abandon my principles to show you what I got last month. It is that time of month again. It's very early September. August is done with, so I can safely say that I'm done buying things for August. And I can also say that I was kind of a shabby Buddhist, a poor Buddhist, not a good Buddhist. I engaged in commerce a bit more than I intended to last month, but I came upon some good deals on some used stuff that I found at Bull Moose. I found an out-of-print Vinegar Syndrome slipcover at Bull Moose for 17 bucks used, and what are you going to do? They make you an offer you can't refuse sometimes. So let's go through the month. I'm going in order, chronologically for these purchases. The first thing I got last month was Sorcerer. This is actually Hangover from July. I ordered this on Amazon during the month of July, at the very end of the month, right when they were about to end their Criterion 50% off discount, but I had to sneak one last one in, but it didn't arrive until August, so guess what? Part of the August haul. That's how this works, okay, guys? I don't make the rules. In fact, I got a wife and 2 daughters. I make very little rules around here. Anyway, I'm looking forward to checking out Sorcerer. That's going to be fun. Good times. Next, I went to Walmart, and I saw that they had a steelbook of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective on 4K, so I picked that up. As you can see, I haven't unwrapped it. I haven't watched it yet, but there we go. I get to watch Ace Ventura on 4K soon, and I get to contemplate, just how many years I'm going to have to wait until I get to show this one to my daughters. They're a little young for this one right now, but eventually, one day, we'll get there. Then I was delivered Better Off Dead near the beginning of the month. This was released on, I don't know, August the 5th, I want to say this was released. So this showed up in my mailbox shortly thereafter. I ordered this from Amazon. Pre-ordered this bad boy a couple of months ago. Anyway, Better Off Dead, I've seen it 100 times. Let's make it 101 this Christmas. If you don't like it, unsubscribe right now. I'm gonna bite your ear off. Next up, I got The Cellar. This is the out-of-print Vinegar Syndrome title that I mentioned. The slipcover is out of print. But I found this bad boy pre-owned at the Bull Moose for, what was it, 17 bucks. Look at that tasteful spot gloss and embossing there on the cover there with the text there. I don't know what that creature is coming out of the bottom, but taking a look at this, it looks like very B-movie, maybe even not quite that good. It looks pretty shitty, and I'm down for that. I think I'm gonna like it. So I'll check out The Cellar maybe as we come upon the Halloween season. This might be one that I'll save for later in the month of September or early October. Kind of get you in the mood. I like to mix in new stuff with the old stuff. Some classics, some stuff that I've never seen before. It makes it more fun, I think, to watch some new stuff too. Maybe you'll discover something that you really, really like. On the 8th or so of October, the 40-Year-Old Virgin was delivered. I think I remember it was the 8th because it was my oldest daughter's birthday. 40-Year-Old Virgin was delivered. Unfortunately, she and I could not watch this for her birthday because she turned 6. And I'm not going to watch this with her until she turns at least 8, maybe 9. We got to wait a little while because there is some adult humor in here and a little bit of titties and some fucking. So, and a big box of porn. So I really can't show that to a 6-year-old. That's irresponsible parenting. But when she's 8 or 9, yeah, we can get into that. I figure I'll show her Predator first, maybe later this year or early next year. 40-Year-Old Virgin was good. There were some things said about the transfer for this 4K, and my friends Brian at Last Movie Standing and Chase at AV Pop Culture, they will tell you that it was not so great. And they will say stronger things than I will about it. I'll just say it wasn't, it didn't blow my socks off, but I don't have any major complaints about it either. But I got this from Groove. I pre-ordered this, I don't know, a couple months ago. And It only cost me like 24 bucks. So for 24 bucks for a steelbook, for a 4K steelbook, I wasn't that upset that the transfer wasn't impeccable or glorious, or it wasn't even quite as good as like the Happy Gilmore transfer. More about that in a moment. Now, next I got a set of 3 movies that actually came in, I think, the same day as 40-Year-Old Virgin. I had pre-ordered these back in February from Diabolic, and that is the Dollars Trilogy, or as I like to call it, the Man with No Dollars Trilogy. Occasionally I hear people call it the Man with No Name Trilogy. I think that's like an older, like that's what they called it 20 years ago. Now they call it the Dollars Trilogy, so of course, thinking I'm funnier than everybody in the room, I like to call it the Man with No Dollars Trilogy, but that's kind of my dad humor coming out. Like I said, I'm working on my dad humor, guys. I don't think I'm perfect at it yet. I've only been a dad for 6 years, so, you know, I'm working on it. Fistful of Dollars, of course, I got for a few dollars more. And The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And these were all delivered at the same time. They were all delivered on August the 8th from Diabolic. I pre-ordered these like back in February, like I said. I saw some folks online, some folks in the Boutique Blu-ray subreddit who were complaining that their order from Arrow was canceled, which I think is awful. I mean, that's terrible for Arrow to cancel a pre-order. Also, people who pre-ordered it from other sites, like I think maybe Atomic Movie Store, Orbit. There were a few people who had pre-ordered it from other outlets besides just Arrow directly, who also experienced cancels. And I think that's a shame, but it's a little bit more understandable when it's a third-party retail outlet like Orbit or somebody like that, because you know they think that they're going to get a certain allotment. And if they don't receive as much as they thought that they would be allotted, then perhaps they did oversell, and that's unfortunate. It sucks. And in an ideal world, the stuff wouldn't get oversold because it ends up disappointing people months later when the thing's supposed to arrive and it gets canceled. But I will say, pre-order shit early, motherfuckers. My shit showed up because I bought the shit and paid for it back in February. I wasn't about to wait until the last minute to try to get my hands on those. Look at those chunky bitches right there. God, beautiful. So I'm looking forward. Obviously, you can see these are still sealed. I've only been sitting on them for a couple of weeks, so, you know, don't judge me, monkey. I'm going to get around to it, okay? I had some summertime shit that I still needed to watch, but I will get around to these soon. I haven't watched these since the DVD era. I don't think I've ever seen Blu-ray copies of these films. So I'm looking forward to watching the 4Ks. I've heard good things, so I'm excited. Below the waist. As you guys also probably know, Barnes & Noble was having a 50% off sale on Arrow titles because it was 50% off at Barnes & Noble. I mean, I did have to take a little walk on by Barnes & Noble one day. I don't actually have Barnes & Noble real near me. I have to drive about 40 minutes to get there. It's worth it. I got Swordfish for $25. This is a brand new, never before watched, brand new 4K. I mean, $25 for a brand new Arrow 4K. Excellent deal. This is a relatively new release of theirs. I don't think they released Swordfish very long ago. It's been out for maybe a couple of months, but how do you argue with that? People keep talking about how expensive physical media is, but dude, when you can, if you wait, if you're patient, you know, if you camp out on something, then you can get a deal. Don't camp out on the Man with No Dollars trilogy. Don't wait on that one. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And that is to say, you got to know when to pre-order shit 6 months in advance and when it's okay to just kind of wait till the day of. Those chunky boxes from Arrow have been selling pretty quick lately. Y'all, Dark City, which I got last month, that one sold pretty quick. That one's already getting a standard edition release coming up real soon. I think October, November, Dark City is coming out in a standard. So that one didn't take too long. We all know earlier this year, Inglourious Basterds didn't take too long to sell out. Demolition Man wasn't around for too long. So some of these chunky boxes are going pretty quick. You know, you can't sleep on those. But I did wait long enough to get Cobra for 50% off. This one I also got. I actually got this one for $20 because when I went to Barnes & Noble, I had a $5 credit. had a $5 gift card for being like a Barnes & Noble rewards member. I'm a member at the free tier too, so like I don't even pay. I got this free tier membership to Barnes & Noble, but when you spend, you accrue points, and with those points, eventually you get $5 gift card, $10 gift card, whatever. I had a $5 gift card, which I applied to my purchase of Cobra, so instead of being $25, this was $20 for a brand new 4K from Arrow, limited edition with the slipcase, the poster, the everything. I don't see how you can argue with that. Again, people keep talking about physical media is so expensive, but yeah, if you're buying $350 Halloween light up pumpkin box sets of steelbooks from Australia and having it imported with a $33 tariff, then yeah, it's expensive. If you're buying the most expensive shit, then it's expensive. Like champagne and caviar is expensive. That's why I drink cheap beer and eat tuna fish out of a can. I spent all my money on 4Ks, dog. Anyway, I also got Vampire Hunter D. I have said before, I'm not a huge anime guy. I'm not a real big anime dude. I'm kind of a small anime dude, but hey, I got Vampire Hunter D. This was the very first anime I ever watched knowing that I was watching anime. So like I watched Robotech when I was a kid because that came out in the 80s, but I was little. I didn't realize that I was watching something called anime that was from Japan, which when I was 13 in the mid 90s, we called this shit Japanimation, which is what we should still be calling it today. This shit is Japanimation, motherfucker. So Vampire Hunter D was one of the very first ones I ever watched. I think it was like circa 1994-ish. And it just blew my mind. It was like, holy shit, this cartoon got blood and titties, and that girl got her whole boobies out, and this guy's chopping other motherfuckers in half, and I dug it. I mean, as a 13-year-old, and I guess that never really goes away entirely. So like modern anime is pretty stupid, but old anime that was out when I was a kid, Ninja Scrolls, shit like that, shit is lit. Vampire Hunter D is lit. This was just released in August, so I pre-ordered this thing. It was $16. How do you argue with that? $16 for a Blu-ray of a nostalgic anime for me that comes with a pretty sick slipcover. I also found a couple of Kino Lorber 4K Blu-rays on sale used at Bull Moose. So these are ones that I guess somebody had bought and decided they didn't like, and then they sold back to Bull Moose for me to buy at a discount. I bought them for, I don't know, it's like 20 or 21 bucks. Not too shabby. They are pre-owned, but I'm saving money, y'all. I got Black Sheep, Chris Farley, David Spade. It's part of that 90s cycle of comedies that was sort of mid-90s. It was like grunge moved its way through music, and then it hit films, and there was like this subgenre of comedies that was like 94, 95, 96, and it really just lasted for a short, like a brief while, but those early films of Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Black Sheep, Tommy Boy, those early films of Chris Farley and David Spade, I think very much fall into this cycle of kind of cheap, easy, like cheaply made, but not in a bad way, just kind of inexpensive to make because they weren't wicked sci-fi, or, you know, you're not paying Jack Nicholson money to make anger management. This was like before you could pull a star like Jack Nicholson in, and Chris Farley and Adam Sandler weren't costing a lot of money back then because they were brand new to the scene. So there's just something about that period of time. I was 14 or so. I was like 14-ish around then when those films were coming out, and I was sneaking into those bitches in the movie theater and really just enjoying the hell out of them. And so it's kind of a nostalgic thing for me to be able to pick up films like Black Sheep and Tommy Boy and Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore coming out on 4K. It's been an excellent summer for those releases. I also managed to find Kingpin. This is another Kino Lorber mid-90s comedy. It's not part of that cycle that I was just talking about with the, those less expensive comedies of early comedies of Adam Sandler and Chris Farley and David Spade. But it is, again, a mid-90s. I think this came out in 96, mid-90s comedy. I haven't seen it in a long-ass time. It has been a very long time since I've seen Kingpin. I'm looking forward to rewatching this. I have pledged my virginity. I have pledged to watch Kingpin To those fools who watched my last video about my giant unwatched movie pile, Kingpin is in my giant unwatched movie pile because even though I have seen it, it's been a long, long time, and I obviously haven't seen it on 4K yet. So while I'm familiar with the film, it is going to be a new experience for me, at least new-ish. I also got, at the same time as Black Sheep and Kingpin from Bull Moose, I got The Searchers. Look at that bad boy right there. That's a Warner Archive. Warner Archive really just recently started dipping their toes into 4Ks. And if you guys have been buying Warner Archive for a few years like I have, you know they don't usually offer slips. Slip covers is something new for Warner Archive as well. And I'm really glad they're getting with the current year. Warner Archive, up till last year, 2024, they were releasing movies like it was still 2014. They were releasing movies on Blu-ray only, no slipcover, have an ass, nothing really special about them, no limiteds, no nothing, right? Nobody's fighting over these things. Anyway, I wasn't fighting over The Searchers either, except I got this for $16 because I bought it pre-owned. How awesome is that? This is a $30 movie that I got for $16. I got it basically half off because some other dumb motherfucker watched this movie and thought, I don't like movies from 1956. That's old-timey. It's old-fashioned. Guess what? Sell it back to Bull Moose. I'll buy it every day of the week. I get to watch The Searchers in 4K now. I've also promised the internet that I'll watch this one very, very soon, too. It's up next right after Risky Business because I haven't seen The Searchers on 4K. I have The Searchers on DVD. I actually have a really nice, thick DVD, like chunky box set that's probably 20 years old. And I haven't seen The Searchers on 4K. I haven't watched The Searchers in at least 10 years, but probably more like 15. So I'm looking forward to revisiting that as well. I'm also pretty pleased that Warner Archive has got with the modern year. Slips and 4Ks, they're on Kino Lorber's level at this point. And if The Searchers looks particularly good, they might be beating Kino Lorber at this point. Speaking of Kino Lorber, Happy Gilmore came out mid-month-ish. It was like the 19th. I want to say it was somewhere around the 19th or the 20th. It was about mid-month that the 4K of Happy Gilmore came out. And of course, I went and picked this up from Bull Moose because I'm a crazy person. I needed the slipcover, particularly for this one. I needed the slipcover. I have Billy Madison already. I bought that last month. July. I bought that in July. I bought Happy Gilmore. So this kind of completes the initial kind of cycle of Adam Sandler movies that sort of fit into that. Lower budget. He's lesser known. He hadn't built up a name for himself. I mean, Adam Sandler at this point in time, it's like even my kids know who Adam Sandler is. But there was a point in time where he was this kind of edgy comedian. I remember. I mean, a lot of you guys may not be old enough. Some of you old timers that are my age and older, you remember when he first hit the scene. It was like, who's this Adam Sandler guy? I don't know. My grandma knew who Adam Sandler was before she passed away. Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison came out at a time when he was less known, and I think maybe he couldn't rest on the name quite as much because he hadn't made his name yet. So I do appreciate Happy Gilmore. I do think Billy Madison is first in my heart. Most people put Happy Gilmore first, but because I think most people saw Happy Gilmore first, and I think most people went back and caught Billy Madison second. I think, you know, Billy Madison was a good debut for him, but really when people started paying attention was Happy Gilmore. But I went to see Billy Madison on opening night, so that's just kind of first in my heart. After that, I decided to get one more Arrow release in. I squeezed one more in. I got the stuff in 4K. Barnes & Noble did not have this the day that I went to the Barnes & Noble, so regrettably, I was not able to make purchase at that time. It turns out they didn't have the stuff at all in any of the Barnes & Noble near me. I went online and I searched, and I'm like, why don't you guys carry this stuff? I don't know if they just don't like that it looks like jizz coming out of that guy's mouth. I kind of feel like maybe Barnes & Noble's a little homophobic. And personally, it doesn't bother me that it looks like that man is dribbling semen out of his mouth, that his gay boyfriend put it in there. That doesn't bother me. I'm not the kind of person to get bent out of shape or upset about that. Gay stuff doesn't bug me. It never has. I've never really thought twice about it or batted an eyelash at it. That man loves his boyfriend. what is it? Kilo was Love in Her Mouth. Have you heard that song, Love in Her Mouth? That's a great song from the very early 2000s. Love in Her Mouth. I recommend that song to you guys today. But the stuff, I'm looking forward to checking that out. I've never seen this film before, so that was a blind buy. $25 though. How do you argue with that? $25. Free shipping from Amazon, you know? How do you argue with that? And then the last film that I picked up this month, I just the other day, I think like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, very end of August, I noticed that Monty Python and the Holy Grail was selling out online. Amazon didn't have any copies of it. Orbit didn't have any copies of it. Diabolic didn't have any copies of it. So I really wasn't seeing a lot of copies online, but I was seeing copies starting to hit eBay for $70, $80. So I saw which way the wind was blowing on Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I thought, shit, I needed to jump on that. Okay, I feel which way the wind is blowing. I got a good idea of how this is going. I didn't even mean to make that rhyme, but I did. Thank you, beer. But lucky for me, Bull Moose still had a couple of copies, and lucky for you, they might still have a couple of copies, and Bull Moose ships. So if you want to get your hands on this bad boy, I'm not entirely sure that this is going to be around in a couple of months. So you might want to get your hands on it now. That's just the way I'm seeing it. It's a Sony release, so, you know, it might be around for a little while. I think if Sony's smart, you know, you repress a couple of thousand copies. That seems like a good way to go for me. So who knows? Maybe it comes back and I was worried about nothing, but I thought I should play it safe. I went and copped Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Anyway, let me know what you think, how you think I did. I definitely bought way more movies than I thought I was going to. Some of these, though, I'm not too upset about because the Man with No Dollars trilogy I ordered back in February just happened to arrive in August. Same thing with 40-Year-Old Virgin and Better Off Dead. These are films that I bought several months ago. I kind of spread the purchases out a little bit. They just all happened to land in August, so it's part of the August haul. Anyway, what can I say? I'm going to do better in September, I promise. I'm going to buy way less in September. Anyway, let me chug the rest of this in honor of these fine patrons right here. Are you a member of that group? Do you see your name up there? If not, what's the matter with you? Do it. You know what to do. Do it. Catch you on the flippy dippy. I love you.